So tonight we managed to put her upstairs. She's watching a movie. The baby is sleeping.
Oh,
I know, Kunsang got two kids now. Can you believe it?
when
Time
was the
flies.
last time we met?
So that's what I was thinking. Was it like about 10 years ago that I was there?
Yeah, maybe. I think so, yeah.
So like 2011. And then I remember like you went to Korea, right?
Yeah.
You were traveling a little bit. All right. Okay. Hello, everyone. So nice to see everybody. I know it's a little late, but we had to coordinate because Kunsan, it's actually in Dharamshala. It's so amazing that we're doing this live. It's bringing the energy, live energy from Dharamshala. So about 10, about 10 years ago, we were actually talking about this. About 10 years ago, I think, I was in Dharamshala.
Yeah.
And, right, I think it was about 10 years ago. And Dharamshala, it's a small town in the foothills of the Himalayas in India. For you guys that don't know, it's also the home of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and where a large number of Tibetan refugees live in exile. So at the time when I was there, I met Kunsang Tensing, that you guys are about to meet right now. He ran an NGO called Hope Center,
Yeah.
and at Hope Center, they taught English to Tibetans, refugees, to help them get better work opportunities in India and elsewhere. And nowadays, Kunsan is still working for the betterment of his community. He opened up a coffee shop in Dharamshala where he exhibit photographs that he takes of Tibetans in exile. He's also published a book and made a documentary with Tibetans telling their stories of hardship and triumphs. So, Tashidale, Kunsan, how are you?
Just tell everyone I'm good. Hello, everyone.
Oh, so nice seeing you. So, I think I would like to start this by having you tell your story.
Okay.
So, when was it that, at about what age that you
Yeah.
came to Dharamshala from Tibet? And so, yeah, let's just start with that, and then we'll go from there.
So I think I was around like 7 when I came to India, and it was my family's decision to send me to India because usually we believe that India is sort of the land where we can get the modern education, and moreover, we can exercise the freedom, basic fundamental freedom which we are deprived in Tibet. And then the most important reason why I was sent to India was that we have His Holiness the Dalai Lama living in India. So I think these are the main reasons why I was sent to India at a very young age.
And so, when you came there, what is it that made you want to start working with the community as you got older and you start understanding what was going on in Tibet and what was going on with the refugees coming in, because not everybody had a great story coming from there. I mean, as you know, some of the people, they don't even make it, right?
Yeah.
So what was it that inspired you to start working with the community?
So I think it's a pretty long story because, first of all, like you mentioned, that coming from Tibet to India itself is not an easy journey. And moreover, there are a lot of people who lost their life while crossing Himalayas, you know. So when I reached in India, we have this great opportunity where we get free education, you know. So I was sent in TCV school, and I have been there for more than a decade, and then I went for my university in South India. And then the question was like, now what after the graduation, like
And
what am I going
Kunsang,
to do?
just so
Yeah,
people understand, tell them what TCV is.
for Tibetan
Hello?
Children's Village School. Yeah, can you hear me? Hello?
Yes.
Okay. So TCV stands for Tibetan Children's Village School, which is like I think they have like around 14 branches all over India and in Nepal. So that is the place where they provide the education for the Tibetans who are coming from Tibet, starting from like young age to like maybe around 20s. And plus, TCV also have like training centers where they can learn skills like mechanic, bakery, all this sort of are being, like facilitated to those people who came from Tibet as well as who are born inside India. So I ended up going to TCV school, and after that, I went to South India for my university. And then after the university, the question was like, now what? Now what's my role? Because uh, my family is in New York, so they want me to come over there and like live a life in live in US. But somehow I didn't feel that it's the right decision to go to US because for almost around 20 years, like I got everything for free. And when I was in school, we have our teachers always says that you are the future seeds of Tibet. Like we have a bunch of Tibetan kids. So I was like, well, maybe it's the time to serve my community or give back something to my community rather than, like living my own life. And moreover, the thing is like, uh, somebody have to step up and take initiative to serve our community, to build our community better. So that's why I think that was the main reason why I stayed back and like started Tibet Hop Center, and then now I'm doing this project called Stories of Tibetans. So I think that is the main reason why like I want to serve the Tibetan community, and on top of that, it's His Holiness the Dalai Lama who really inspires me to like work for the cause because even though he's really old, like he have dedicated his whole life to look after the Tibetan people, to promote the Tibetan cause. So when at such old age he's doing everything, then I'm sure like there are something which I can also contribute to the cause. So I think these are the main reasons, like why I decided to work for my community.
So Kunsang, tell us about Stories of Tibet.
Okay, stories of Tibetans mainly, I'm sure like almost everyone knows about Humans of New York, right? There's this project called Humans of New York. So it's pretty much similar. And the reason why I wanted to do stories of Tibetans was that for almost more than 6 decades, we have been telling about Tibetan issue, you know. Most of the time we
And
end
then
up, yeah,
Kunsang, for the people that don't know anything about Tibet and what the Tibetans go through, can you just like sum up, like, you know?
okay, so first I'm going to explain a little bit about Tibet. So Tibet used to be an independent country, but China illegally occupied Tibet. And then in the year of 1959, His Holiness the Dalai Lama and around like 8,000 Tibetans came to exile. So currently the situation inside Tibet is really critical because inside Tibet, even we are not allowed to have Dalai Lama's photo. It's illegal, you know. And then moreover, like we don't have basic human rights or fundamental human rights like freedom of expression, freedom of education, freedom of religion. You can just name any freedom, you know, but all these are deprived. Like Tibetans cannot enjoy it inside Tibet. And then there are so many also there are so many Tibetan political prisoners also inside Tibet. And yeah, so it's just everything like somehow Tibetans are being crushed emotionally and physically inside Tibet. So that's why His Holiness uh, decided to come to exile in India. So this is like very basic information about Tibet. But of course, if you want to know more about Tibet, then you can just simply search on the internet. Like there are a bunch of information. And so yeah, getting back to the stories of Tibetans, the idea is like we need a different way to create more awareness about the Tibetan issue. You know, even like while I'm here in Dharamsala, usually on every Wednesday evening, we have this session where I give a talk about Tibet, like giving information about Tibet, like the current situation, like was Tibet really an independent nation, why China needs to, all this sort of questions. And then there are still people who says like who have questions like who is Dalai Lama? So like which means we really need to work hard, to promote Tibetan issue. So that's why I wanted to find a different way to create awareness about Tibetan issue. And then what I found is like this telling personal story is really effective because usually what I do is I necessarily don't talk about Tibet in my interviews. I want to make people curious about Tibet because letting a bunch of informations out there, and if they are not interested, if they are not curious, then there's no point in creating awareness. We need to find the right people who want to support Tibet. We have to make people curious about Tibet.
Yeah,
So
and
that's why,
also I feel that sometimes when you talk about a cause, it can become very general, but then when you actually show a human being that it's going through it, it makes people like, okay, this is an actual individual that it's going through this suffering, and you can
yeah,
relate better than just talking about a cause.
true. And then moreover, since Tibetan issue is related to political, so like a lot of people in the world are tired of politics. you know. So usually when we try to bring up the politics, then simply they walk away. So the idea of the stories of Tibetans is that let's meet us as an individual, you know. For example, whether it's a profession or whether it's a hobby or it can be anything, like whether it can be about your pet. So, like for example, a teacher might be interested in a teacher who is living other side of the world, you know. So yes, the Tibetan who is a teacher as a profession shares his struggle. Like this is the problem what I face when I teach my students. These are the facilities which I have. So this is how it goes out. And then in the very beginning of the interview, every people or every person have to say that and have to mention their name. Like I'm Kunsang Tensing, right? So Tibetan name, it's really unique from the rest of the world, right? So right from there, it makes them curious, like, oh, this name sounds a little bit strange or unique or different, you know. And then along with that, he mentions that I'm a Tibetan. Then that's all. And then he shares his profession, his personal story. So through that way, somehow I'm trying to get more attention about the Tibetan issue, you know. And then our stories, it's from like a wide range of backgrounds. There are elder generations, there are present generations, there are young kids like who are like 9, 8. For example, I have a kid who says like, uh, I love Spider-Man, you know. And then usually when people talk about Tibetans, it's more about like Buddhism, spiritualism, peace, something like that. So it's really difficult for them to digest that the Tibetan kids also love Spider-Man, you know. So somehow we are trying to portray ourselves as a human being, which we are. We are not something from a different world. So somehow, yes, the main idea of the stories of Tibetans is to really connect between different individuals. So that is one of the key goal. And then beside from that, since Tibetan people are scattered all over the world, I really feel that it's very important for us to be united and like to understand each other and to know each other and what we are going through, because for example, a lot of Tibetans in US might not know a lot about, I don't know, a problem inside Dharamsala, like what Tibetans are going through. So usually we portray like social issues, like about feminism, about gender equality, all these sort of stories. Because we also interview people who are like professional in, I don't know, like there are people whom we have in, like transgenders, like, yeah, wide range of people. It's like our community is really colorful.
Right.
It's not like we are
Everybody's unique.
conservative.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's not everybody's that comes from Tibet, it's a monk.
yeah, something like that. Like most of people have this concept. So usually like we portray what we have in our community. And then finally, I want to, in the future, this platform will become more like a hub for intellectuals or for Tibetans or anyone who wants to know more about Tibet, because
Kunsang, and
yeah.
did did Your Holiness get to be part of it? Does he know about your project?
So I'm not sure about that because reaching to his level is really difficult. Like there are a lot of yeah, it's difficult to reach all the way up there. And but I think it's not
But he's
about,
inspiring all of you guys to do
yeah,
something, right? Every day,
yeah.
just by being
So
present, his presence there. And
yeah.
so I wanted to ask you, what do you think nowadays is the role of the new generation in keeping Tibetan language, uh,
Mm,
history, culture alive?
mm,
Because
mm,
I remember when I was there, yes,
mm,
it's a very strong culture, but also I noticed that some of the young generation was very interested in like learning more like English speaking,
mm,
especially the ones that are
mm.
born already in India, right?
Yeah. Mm. So when we talk about culture and tradition, it's a very big topic, you know. And for your question, like the present generation or the younger generation, uh, I think we are doing which is within our ability to preserve our own culture, you know. But the method might be different as compared to our elder generation, because uh, nowadays in this 21st century, it's the era of technology.
Right.
Like everybody have access on internet. So yes, I do believe and I do think that the present generations are trying their best in their own ways to preserve the culture, the tradition, because uh, everybody have a pain in our heart, the present generation, the younger generation, because when we talk about Tibetan issue, when something happens inside Tibet, it makes us sad. It makes the present generation or the younger generation sad. So, yeah, we do have this pain and we do carry this pain, and we always do remind ourselves that we are in exile and we are a refugee. So, yes,
It's also a responsibility, I guess, right?
yes,
For the
yes,
people
yes,
that are
yes,
there.
yes,
So
yes.
what is the current situation in Tibet?
So, current situation inside Tibet is like, for example, the biggest issue so far is the self-immolation, if you have heard about it. So they're like Tibetans, like they started burning themselves. And I think like the number reaches around like 152 so far. So
So for the people that don't know about it, can you like quickly explain a little what that is?
self-immolation.
Yeah, like why they do it and how they do.
Okay. So, why they do, first of all, the self-immolation is an act where you burn yourself for a cause, like, uh, and then why the Tibetans do it is, it might be like, like there are different theories about like why they are doing it. But personally, what I do believe is that Tibetans are suffocating inside Tibet. Like mentally, emotionally, they need to express.
And they
You know,
can't because of the.
yeah. And then moreover, they also want to, like do something for the Tibetan issue or the Tibetan cause. So usually people, when I talk about self-immolation, usually people have these questions like why they can't just protest rather than burning themselves. You know, why just can't they upload something on internet like what we are doing now? But the thing is, they don't understand that how harsh the Chinese authorities are inside Tibet because,
Well, they
for
don't even have
example,
access, right, to internet.
yeah. So the thing is, like, I have a friend who who joined a protest inside Tibet when he was in Tibet. He got 5 minutes to shout slogans about Tibetan issue, but then he was put in prison for 5 years. So that is the consequences. You know, and then imagine yourself, being tortured, being interrogated like for 5 years. So usually,
And
they
this was
even don't
like,
want.
how old was he?
I think he was around 16 years. Yeah, he was 16 years old when he
16
joined.
years old.
Yeah, yeah. So the self-immolation, I think it's simply because they want to express, and they are, I think, and they want to do something bigger than just shouting a slogan and then facing this 5 year or 10 years in prison. And so I think, of course, all these reasons are being included. Like they want His Holiness to be in Tibet, they want freedom, or yeah, these are along with this whole movement. But the main reason is they want to express, they want to have the attention of the world for the Tibetan cause. So yeah, but this is really like my based on my personal knowledge. So this is what I feel and why the Tibetans are doing that. So yes, this is considered to be one of the, what should I say, like the current situation inside Tibet, like which really highlights the freedom inside Tibet. So beside from that, of course, all this like deprivation of education and expression, everything has been going on for almost 6 decades inside Tibet. You know, So yeah, like there are so many things which are happening inside Tibet, and the problem is it's really difficult to get the information out from Tibet
Right.
because they don't grant access. For example, I have another friend who wrote an email in the year of 2008 about the Tibetan protest which happened inside Tibet. So he was inside Tibet and he wrote an email about, even like not mentioning whole detail about the protest. He was just telling one of his friends inside India saying that, oh, there's a huge protest going on. So like just few sentences, and that also not from his home but from an internet cafe. But then he got arrested after 2 days. So this is how they track you down, like to, if you send the information out of Tibet or China. So yeah, like
And Kunsang, people still escape from there walking in the mountains. So let's say for those people that walk from there, how long is that journey? Like so people have an idea.
yeah. So usually it depends which route you are going to take, and moreover, it depends on the guide who is taking you to India or to Nepal. Usually. Uh, So I think I can roughly say that it will last around a month to reach the
month.
border. Yeah, by
And
walking.
that's going
And
through really harsh weather, right?
yeah, you know, the thing is like the first destination is Nepal, from Tibet to Nepal, you know. And then between Nepal and Tibet, we have this Himalaya. So in the Western country, going to Himalaya is an expedition. It's a, you know, it's something which they choose to challenge themselves. You know, again, while they are doing this, they still need whole equipment. You know, like I don't know, oxygen cylinder, all those clothes, or this, I don't know, tools, gadgets, everything. But for the Tibetans, usually when they have to cross, it's about like how light can you travel. It's not about like what are the gas that you have. It's about how light can you travel, you know. So which really means that the less you carry, the faster you will reach. So you know, like of course there are kids who had frostbite. There are people who got blind because of the snow. And then usually I think that it's the month of the winters where they want to travel to Nepal, because during those times there are less border patrol in the
But also
Himalayas.
it's harder to travel under those
Of
conditions.
course, of course, of course, of course. So, uh, yeah, people who are listening to this, there's this a documentary called Murder in the Snow. So it's a actual incident, and where you know, like the Chinese border patrol, they saw a bunch of Tibetans traveling or escaping to Nepal, and then literally without any warning, you know, like they start shooting them down. So this is the situation, like when the parent or when someone decided to send someone to India or go to India, right from the beginning, I think it's the they don't know whether they will make it or not.
Or not.
Yeah, but still they want to try,
Yeah.
because once when they reach India, India is the place where the Dalai Lama lives. India is the place where we can exercise our freedom. India is the place where we can preserve our culture and learn about our tradition. You know, so
So, Kunsan, if for people that are listening right now, two things. So, if they want to check out your documentary, your stories, the stories of Tibetans, where can they find that? And also, if they want to join the cause and help, you know.
mm. so um, stories of Tibetans. So if you have Facebook, if you have, I don't know, YouTube, if you have Instagram, so we are almost on every social media platform. So you
So
can
it would
just
be like at Stories of
add
Tibetans.
stories of Tibetans, stories of Tibetans.
Tibetans.
So yeah, if you just type that, I'm sure like you will easily find us. And then um, about the supporting, it's not really my project which needs support, you know, because this project uh, I don't need a lot of people to do it, or it's not a big project. It's just a small part of the whole cause. So if there are people who wants to support, I think it's the Tibetan issue or the Tibetan cause which we are, you know, like looking for support. And the very reason why I started this project is to gain support for the Tibetan movement.
And so, how
So
people can join and help the Tibetan movement?
yeah, so there are many ways to support the Tibetan issue, and also it depends on your level. Like, you know, like for example, if you are someone who doesn't have a much of time, then uh, for example, 10th of March. So I just want to talk about a little bit about 10th of March. So which happened in the year of 1959, and then 10th of March, on the 10th of March, the thing is like It was the biggest uprising, first ever biggest uprising inside Tibetan movement. So to mark that year, to mark that date, every Tibetans all over the world, they come out on the street to demonstrate against Chinese regime.
Yeah,
So
I
yes,
remember. I've actually
yeah,
joined one of those walks in New York City. They do it.
yeah. So in if you don't have a time, it's very easy. Like since everybody nowadays have a social media platform and who might have like a pretty much of a lot number of followers as well. So just carry a paper and say like Save Tibet and just post it on your, like I don't know, it's whether Instagram or whether it's on Facebook or whether it's on YouTube, everywhere, you know. And then it's about the like feeding the information to the people who don't know about Tibet, you know. And then of course, if you want to do more than that, then we have this Central Tibetan Administration based in Dharamsala. So again, if you look at up on Google or internet, it's very easy to get in contact with them, and then have a like proper structured way to support Tibet. Yeah.
Well, Kunsang, thank you so very much. I'm so
Thank you,
happy
thank
that
you.
we made this happen. It's morning for him, Saturday. It's evening for me, but